You and your brother both directly asked your dad not to marry Camilla.
Yes.
Why?
We didn't think it was necessary. We thought that it was going to cause more harm than good, and that if he was now with his person, that surely that's enough.
Prince William has stripped Queen Camilla's family of their royal titles and perks. Yeah, you heard that right. But why on earth would William, the future king, make such a drastic decision? And what's gonna happen now? Is Camilla absolutely fuming? Well, let's see how this whole situation unfolded, because it wasn't some sudden dramatic announcement. This was more like a quiet tide slowly rolling out, and for Queen Camilla, it feels like it's washing away years of her hard work.
The interview was a major contribution to making my parents' relationship worse and has since hurt countless others.
So while most people might not have caught on right away, there's been some serious behind-the-scenes action going on. Prince William, being the clever guy he is, has apparently started to quietly strip away some royal perks from Camilla's family. We're talking about stuff that might seem minor to us, but in royal terms, it's a big deal. Exclusive invites to royal events, those fancy honorary roles, and those connections that can really open doors. All of that is being taken away from the Parker Bowles family little by little. Now you might be wondering, why would William do this? Isn't he supposed to be supportive? Well, according to The Buzz, he's got a clear plan. He's aiming for a monarchy reset. Basically, he wants to simplify things and get back to a more traditional setup. In plain terms, he thinks royal status should really just come from being born into it. If you're born royal, cool. If you marry into it, that's where things get a bit tricky, and William seems to want to make those lines clearer. As for Camilla, this has got to be a tough pill to swallow. Imagine spending years trying to get your family accepted into a world that wasn't always friendly. She's worked hard to make a place for herself, her kids, and grandkids in the royal scene. So for William to start pulling that apart, it must feel like a huge personal hit. It's like all her hard work and little wins are being wiped away right in front of her. That's gotta hurt. But to understand why Camilla's feeling this way, we need to look back at how her family even got to this royal adjacent spot in the first place. Let's be real, her journey to becoming queen consort wasn't exactly a walk in the park. Remember all the public backlash? It wasn't easy for her, but she was patient and persistent, slowly carving out her place in the royal family. She showed up, did the work, and eventually earned some public acceptance.
Yes, I slept on the street for 2 nights. I did.
As Camilla's status grew, so did the inclusion of her kids, Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes, and her grandkids. You might have noticed them popping up more at royal events and family gatherings, even in official photos. They weren't always in the spotlight, but they were definitely becoming more visible. It wasn't about them getting royal titles, they didn't have those, and honestly, we didn't expect them to, but they definitely enjoyed some perks and respect that came with being close to the queen consort. And if you need a sign of this inclusion, just think back to King Charles' coronation. Camilla's grandsons, Gus and Louis Lopes and Freddie Parker Bowles, were pages of honor. That was a huge deal. It was a clear sign that Camilla's family was being welcomed into the heart of the monarchy during one of its biggest ceremonies. For many, this was seen as a big step towards acceptance. Apparently, Camilla didn't stop there. She had hopes for even more formal recognition for her grandkids down the line, maybe even some ceremonial titles. She was always working behind the scenes to boost her family's visibility, making sure they were included in official photos and royal news whenever she could. She wanted them to feel like they truly belonged. But here's where things got a bit tense. This push for inclusion wasn't welcomed by everyone. There was some growing tension, especially among the more traditional folks at the palace and royal watchers. They felt that bringing in too many non-blood relatives, even informally, started to water down the royal image. It blurred the lines of who was really royal and who wasn't, and for those who believe in a strict monarchy, that was a big concern. They were worried that it would make the whole institution seem less exclusive and special.
I think the one I enjoyed reading more than anything else was Harry Potter.
Alright, so we've heard Camilla's side of the story, how she's been working to get her family into the royal scene, and how bummed she is about everything going on. But let's switch gears and check out what Prince William is thinking, because it's important to get where he's coming from. He's not just making random decisions, he's got his eyes on the bigger picture, like the future of the crown. From William's angle as the future king, he's been noticing all these little changes, like how Camilla's family is getting more attention, and he's feeling like the monarchy is straying from its roots. Think about it. Every institution needs to keep its identity, right? For the monarchy, that identity has always been about a clear lineage. When things start to get a bit murky, especially with more people coming into the mix, it can freak out someone who's set to take on such a huge responsibility. William is all about tradition and duty. He sees the monarchy as a place where roles are defined by who you're born to, not just who you marry or your connections. It's about a specific duty that's passed down. So when he sees things getting mixed up, it's not personal. It's about what he thinks is best for the institution he'll eventually lead. And where does he get these ideas? He's been looking at the past, especially at his grandparents, Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. They had a clear approach to royal duties, focused on service and tradition. William really admires their dedication and how they kept the monarchy dignified. He's also super aware of how the public sees things. In today's world, everyone's watching, and the monarchy needs to come off as strong and relevant. If it looks too complicated, it could lose support, and that's something he wants to avoid. Actually, it's pretty well known that both William and Kate are into a simpler, more streamlined monarchy. They're thinking about a future with fewer people doing official royal stuff. This isn't about shutting anyone out, it's about being efficient and focused. They believe a smaller group of working royals can make a bigger impact without diluting the crown's significance. It's a fresh take on an old institution, so when we talk about what William's doing, it's key to realize that it's not personal, it's about principles. He's not trying to hurt Camilla or her family. His actions are driven by a strong desire to protect the integrity and future of the monarchy. He sees himself as a guardian of the crown, making sure it stays strong and respected for years to come. It's a tough call, but he thinks it's totally necessary. Now, what does this royal reset actually look like in action? Well, it's been a slow but steady shift. You won't see any big announcements, but behind the scenes, things are changing. For instance, official guest lists are getting updated. If you're not a direct blood royal or a spouse, your name might quietly get dropped from invites to some big events. As a result, we're seeing less public presence from non-blood royals. There are fewer casual appearances and photo ops that aren't tied to core royal duties. A big part of this reset is about cutting out honorary roles. This is where Camilla's grandkids come into play. Remember how they were pages of honor at the coronation? That was a big deal. Well, reports say that this kind of special status, which isn't linked to direct royal lineage, is something William wants to phase out. It's all about drawing a clear line. William believes the public deserves a straightforward monarchy. He wants people to easily know who's a working royal and who isn't.
It is my firm view that this panorama program holds no legitimacy and should never be aired again.
Alright, so we've checked out William's reasoning, which makes sense if you're all about protecting the institution. But what about Queen Camilla? For her, getting this news was a total breaking point. She's feeling pretty erased right now. After all those years of loyalty to Charles and working hard to be a respected queen consort, it's like all that effort is being wiped away? And here's a tough thought. She might even think that old issues, like those tied to Princess Diana, could be behind William's decision. It's like the past is creeping back in, making her feel like her place and her family's place is being pushed aside. This has definitely created some serious tension. Her relationship with Kate, who's seen as William's go-to person, has gotten pretty chilly. Camilla might think Kate's in on this or at least okay with it. When you feel attacked, you start looking at who's involved, and with Kate being so close to William, it's no wonder Camilla feels a growing distance there. But the hardest hit for Camilla has been Charles's silence, or at least it seems like he's not stepping in. Imagine your husband, the king, just standing by while your family feels pushed out. The fact that Charles hasn't publicly backed her up has made Camilla feel totally betrayed. She's put in so much, and not feeling his strong support right now must be very isolating. But what does all this mean for the future? Well, the atmosphere at Clarence House, Camilla's official residence, is described as cold and quiet. You can almost feel the tension in the air. This marks a formal exclusion for Camilla's family. They'll be left off guest lists for most future royal events, reinforcing that clear line William is drawing. Ultimately, William's vision prevails. His focus on a smaller, sharper, purpose-driven monarchy is becoming a reality. This new rule is firm. There are no exceptions. There's simply no room for emotional considerations when it comes to official roles within this streamlined vision. It raises a huge question. Will this ultimately strengthen the monarchy, making it more robust and relevant for the modern age? Or will it make it feel more distant, more exclusive, and less relatable to the public? What we can say for sure is that the age of blurred lines is over. But what do you guys think? How do you believe this decision will affect the monarchy in the long run? Will it make it stronger or create more distance? We really want to hear your thoughts on this, so jump into the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date on all royal things.